Hi everybody. As you know, it's possible to make money from YouTube videos through advertising revenue. Shortly after I started making videos and uploading them to YouTube, I signed up for that program. The requirements to monetize the video were pretty easy to meet. Well, this week, YouTube announced a drastic increase in those requirements. One of those requirements is that you need to have over 1,000 subscribers to your channel. Well, I'm barely at 250. So, while I never really expected to make a whole lot of money and retire to Florida off of my YouTube videos for Dorothy here, I thought it'd be a good way to help defray the cost of the restoration. So I'm asking, as much as I hate to do it, for you to continue to watch and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. All right, good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, the 20th of January, about 9:30 in the morning. A little bit later of a start than I wanted to get, but not too bad. Over at the garage, of course, and I got my brand new rear Valance. Quite the hunk of metal here. Obviously in much better shape than what I've got. The challenge here, however, as you may notice, it's got no holes for any of the lights or the license plate marker or the license plate light. The reason being is that this panel works through the Mark 1 through the Mark 3, and the tail light configuration and the license plate configuration changed over the model run of the round tails. So the other thing that's not in it is there's a little strengthener here that goes in between, right behind the tail light. So anyway, it is a steel craft part. I picked it up at Rimmer's. They were having a sale, a January sale. It ended on the 14th, I believe. You know me and my Rimmer sales, especially for body panels. So I have that. I also hacked, this is the heater shroud, for lack of a better way to put it, the heater duct or something that goes underneath the dashboard that's routed out over here on Dorothy. And this is the little corner of the trunk, or the boot, excuse me, that's also routed out. That through that seam there is routed out on Dorothy. So you can see that right there, and the part right there. You can hopefully see that hole is not as holy as it should be, just probably from a leak. So anyway, I'm going to grab the old Valance. I'm going to make some templates on where the holes go for the tail lights and everything that I need to do. I'm going to steal the strengthener piece off of there and then go to town on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to drill those holes before or after I put it, get it welded in. I also have to paint. I kept forgetting to paint the bottom of that boot floor there, the vertical portion. So I got to get that painted. So that'll take some time to dry. So I may just go ahead and get that knocked out first, and then drill some holes here while I'm waiting for the POR to dry. So anyway, that's the goal today, and really that's my only goal for today. So we'll see how it goes. All right, real quick, I wanted to show you how I'm doing this. So I got the template made here, and what I did with this is I just took a piece of this cardstock and put it on the inside here and just taped it in to the inside, and then traced the holes with the pen, and then marked it obviously top and left, and then transferred it to the outside here. So I'm going to eyeball it, make sure it looks pretty good, but I think this will be okay. And then I'm just going to center it, drill holes in the center here on both sides to kind of start. And I've got the big step drill here. The large holes are 1 1/4 inches. The smaller ones I think are, I don't know, 7/8 or something like that. I didn't look and see how big they are. Get those drilled out, and then I'll worry about the license plate thing. That one will be a little trickier, I think, just because it's not near an edge, so I don't have a good reference point. But anyway, I'll eyeball this and make sure it fits, and then because this PRR 15, I kicked myself for not getting that welded or painted up earlier. Now I'm going to have to wait for that stuff to dry or close to it. So we'll see how it goes. All right, 10:30. Got the holes for the lamps in. You can kind of see there that my little screw mounting holes weren't exactly centered up, but I don't think it'll matter. One, it's going to be covered because the lamp is much bigger than the hole. the housing, but I think the screw holes will be fine as long as it's somewhat close. I believe they're slide-in clips, I don't remember. So I may have to cut that out a little bit, but I'm not too concerned. So it came out all right. Now the more challenging part is going to be to get the license plate stuff drilled in here and get the bracket in. So I'm going to cut the bracket out of this guy and then line it all up and see how it goes. All right, so the license plate light, I did that a little bit differently. Still made the template by putting the cardstock inside the old one and then tracing the inside of the circles and then transferring it over here. And essentially what I did was I just measured a bunch of distances between the center line or the edge of this hole all the way out to this guy and then to all the way out to this guy, and just kind of lined it up and then made those same copies of measurements over here and transferred it over. So I'm not real concerned that this is off a couple millimeters right or left, just like I wasn't really concerned with the lights being off a couple millimeters, but trying to get as close as I can, of course, but not too concerned. I don't have the tail light assembly, unfortunately, over here, or the license plate assembly over here, because I kind of destroyed them, taking them apart to line up any holes, because everything was completely rusted out. It still reminds me I still need to get one of those, because you can't purchase them anymore, so I got to find somebody that might have one. But anyway, so unfortunately I don't have anything good to go on, so we'll see how it goes. All right, it's about 11:45, and I've got all the holes drilled. These two holes up here are where the catch goes for the boot lid. My one on the left there is a little bit lower than the one on the right, but I think that'll be okay. Concentrated on that pretty good, because that's really the only place that it matters, because I've got a relationship between the boot lid coming down and the valance, because that's where the capture is. So to get those holes right, what I essentially did was, again, just take a bunch of cross measurements for the bracket, so that the bracket, I knew if I had the bracket lined up properly that I would have those holes lined up properly. So that's what I ended up doing. A little bit off, but not too bad. So I just took measurements from the edge here to the edge of the bracket, and on the other side and vertically, the measurements line up pretty good between the two metal pieces here, between the original and the replacement. The lengths from the flange to flange are right. This is a little bit different here. This is a little bit longer this way than original, but the curvature is all correct. I haven't put it up to the car yet, but I don't suspect any real problems, given that it's essentially the same. So I still got to punch holes in it for spot welds or plug welds, but otherwise that puppy's ready to go. Once I weld the bracket in, I'm going to take care of that before I put it up, because it'll obviously be a lot easier to weld. I did spray the bottom here with some regular primer to go over top of the POR. I got a little crackling in there. I probably didn't wait long enough for the POR to cure, but oh well. And I got to get this bracket, if you remember the little welding bracket, or excuse me, the hanger bracket for the muffler, I got to get that thing welded in before I also put the rear valance on, just to make it easier. And I got to get this guy welded up here, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do over here. So I actually got quite a bit of work left before I'm ready to weld. So I should be able to make it today, but we'll see. All right, about 1:15 or so, got that bracket for the around the license plate light interior wise. Got that welded in and ground down. Got this part finished welding in there. Didn't grind it down. I'm gonna have to bring my my Dremel, I think, and get inside of there. I have a hole right there, but I'm gonna leave it because I got to spot weld the trunk in anyway, so might as well leave that hole there. And I got this over here in. Let me get out of the shadow. Ugh. Got that guy over there, and again, I'm going to need the Dremel. If I had thought a little bit better, I should have welded it from the back, but there you go. And there are brackets under here, even though you can't see it, and I don't have any light under there, so you wouldn't be able to see it anyway, but the muffler hold down bracket, or the muffler attachment bracket, is in there. And yeah, so I'm going to punch holes in the bottom of the valance for plug welds along the bottom seam there, and then I'm going to start manhandling it and getting it in there and getting it fit up, and see how it goes. So we'll see. All right, everybody, it's about 2:45 or so. I'm going to cut it a little early today to go home and study up a little bit more before my final tonight. So the valance is not in, but it's kind of fit in there, as you can see. And I think I've been mentioning that these holes here were light holes, and they're not. That's where the rear bumpers come through. So I got a little bit of struggles here. If you can see that, I bent that away to try and get that to fit. That's just not coming in at all. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I tried to compare the two valances, and it's too curvy and everything to really get a good comparison. It also appears as though I may have put this piece in here, this repair patch in at a little slight up angle a little bit, but I'm not too sure. It actually doesn't look too bad right now. This side comes in fine, and you can kind of see that that's not too bad. So still got to play with it. I'm seeing the boot floor down here, but I get here and that's my fingertips there at the bottom of the boot floor. So you can see that that's quite a ways. I mean, it flexes quite a bit, so I'm hoping that once this kind of comes in and all that, and it all figures itself out, it'll work. You can see there that I still have some light, so that the whole valance can obviously rotate, but what's stopping it is this piece. So not too sure, but not too bad of a day. So I got all the repair patches in over here. I cleaned up some of the boot floor a little bit and knocked some dents out in it. It looks like, you know, they hit something on the road or something, whatever they were driving. That was not too bad. I had a little nervous moment here. I thought I was going to find some rust here, through rust, you know, cancer, but wasn't to be. So that was good. So a lot of prep work, obviously. Got a lot of work, but this will be the goal when I get back over here sometime this week during the work week. Will be to focus on getting this fit and seeing what I can do to figure that corner out over there. Obviously don't want to cut anything. So that's all I got. So wish me luck on my calculus final tonight. Thanks for liking and subscribing the YouTube videos. Again, I'm kind of sorry for the little subscription pitch that I put at the beginning, but you know, it is what it is. So I appreciate your time and your subscriptions with that. So please visit the website, www.roundtailrestoration.com. I'll try to get caught up with this probably tomorrow, and otherwise that's it for me. Have a good weekend. Cheers.